G'day, I'm Charlie Pryde.
And I'm Jennifer Pryde. Welcome to our YouTube channel, Pride of the Villages.
This video highlights our recent trip to Key West and a new experience for us in getting there, the Key West Express. We will tour the boat, show you the sailing, and have some recommendations on where to eat and what to experience in Key West. Lastly, we will discuss the cost and advantages, disadvantages of taking the Key West Express over driving to Key West. For those not familiar with the Florida Keys, they are a string of tropical islands stretching about 120 miles off the southern tip of the state of Florida between the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. Jennifer and I have been to the Keys a number of times before kids came along. Jennifer learned to scuba dive in Tavernier, and I fished in Alamorada. When our girls were old enough, the Keys became a family vacation, where we would drive Highway 1 from Key Largo to Key West, stopping to feed the tarpon at Robbie's, traveling over the 7-mile bridge, visiting the Turtle Hospital at Marathon, and then spending some time in Key West experiencing all the city had to offer. The girls always had a great time. Well, most of the time. This trip, however, was just Jennifer and I, and instead of driving to Key West, we decided to try the Key West Express. The Key West Express operates jet-powered catamarans that deliver you from Fort Myers Beach to Key West or from Marco Island to Key West. The Fort Myers to Key West route runs year-round, and the Marco Island Key West route is seasonal. In the summer, the Fort Myers route does not operate on Tuesday and Wednesday, so Jennifer and I planned a 3-day journey leaving on a Saturday and returning on Monday. Boarding the boat begins at 7 a.m. and ends at 7:30 a.m. to ensure an 8 a.m. departure. For us, it is 215 miles from home to the dock, which meant a real early morning road trip down I-75. Key West Express has a convenient parking lot at the terminal. They charge $17 a day to park.
Everything you need out of your load?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, end of the trip, you'll hurry it up and come back here to retrieve it.
Okay, right back to the same spot,
Or
right?
you can be lined up back there for you.
Alrighty, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Arriving at the Key West Bight Ferry Terminal on Grinnell Street, it was an easy offboarding, and we decided to walk to our hotel on a nice day. After checking in at the hotel, it was time for lunch, and conveniently around the corner was the Ko-Jin Noodle Bar. Highly rated on Yelp as having some great food at a reasonable cost. Jennifer got the red curry coconut shrimp, and I the pork yakisobe. Both were outstanding. Duval Street is the hub of activity for Key West, especially the bar scene, with some very famous ones. Here you will find the original Margaritaville. Captain Tony's is the original location of Sloppy Joe's and where Ernest Hemingway drank. Above the sign outside of Tony's is a large grouper that it is said if you throw a quarter into the mouth of the fish, good luck will follow you until you leave the island. The relocated Sloppy Joe's is where drinks are served with a smile and Hemingway t-shirts fly out of the retail store. There's a good number of other drinking establishments as well. Now, it seems that every vibrant city has an Irish bar, but not every city has a clothing optional bar. Visit the Bull in its top floor Garden of Eden if you like to have your drinks au naturel. Staying with a biblical theme, St. Paul's Episcopal Church towers over Duval Street and is the oldest in Florida diocese. The Strand Theater opened in 1921 and is now the front of a neighborhood Walgreens. Key West is also the birthplace of Pan Am Airways. Founded in 1927 by two former U.S. Army Air Corps majors, Pan Am began as a scheduled airmail and passenger service flying between Key West and Havana, Cuba. The residential houses in Key West are stunning, many incorporating Bahamian and Queen Anne styles. Several of these large houses have become bed and breakfast establishments. The most famous house is the Ernest Hemingway House, and it was the residence of American writer Ernest Hemingway in the 1930s. Due to its association with the writer, the property is the most popular tourist attraction in Key West. It is also famous for its large population of so-called Hemingway cats, which have six-toed paws. This grand home, that is now known as the Audubon House, was built by Captain John Geiger in the 1840s as a residence for his family who lived there for more than a century. This restored mansion reflects the elegance and comfortable living enjoyed by a wealthy family in Key West in an era where frequent shipwrecks on the offshore reef created a flourishing shipwrecking industry. Speaking of shipwrecks, we visited the Mel Fisher Maritime Museum. Treasure hunter Mel Fisher and his family found the Spanish galleon, Atocha, in the 1970s off of Key West. The estimated 450 million cash recovered, known as the Atocha Mother Lode, included 40 tons of gold and silver. There were some 114,000 Spanish silver coins known as pieces of 8, gold coins, Colombian emeralds, gold and silver artifacts, and 1,000 silver ingots. The emeralds from the Atocha are some of the finest emeralds in the world. They come from the Muzo mine in Colombia. Beside the displays of treasure exploration and some of the recovered bounty, there are museum sections devoted to piracy and the slave trade in the region. This museum is well worth the cost of admission, and we would certainly recommend a visit. Close to the museum is the old Navy depot and storehouse, which is now the shops at Mallory Square. There are some unique shops in this building, including art studios and a store specializing in all things cats and dogs. While Jennifer shopped, I just wanted to join this dog for a nap. Time for dinner, we headed over to Hank's Saloon. This is an outdoor venue that features the food truck Garbo's Grill. During happy hour, you can get their trio taco special for $11. The Korean beef, shrimp, and fish tacos were outstanding. A nice after-dinner stroll is Key West Historical Memorial Sculpture Garden. The sculpture garden features 36 bronze busts and biographies of the pioneering men and women who have made Key West such a vibrant and important outpost of American culture and folklore. Dominating the garden is an 18-foot by 25-foot sculpture entitled The Wreckers, which shows two men salvaging the remains of a sailing ship wrecked on a reef near Key West. Notable figures in the garden include the 33rd President of the United States, Harry S. Truman, railroad tycoon Henry Flagler, Nobel Prize author Ernest Hemingway, and Pulitzer Prize playwright Tennessee Williams. Mallory Square on the Key West waterfront is a very quiet place during the daytime sunny hours, but as the sun goes down, the party comes up. Tourists flock to the square to see the gorgeous sunsets. On the square, a variety of vendors set up their stands, and of course there is adult beverages available. If you see a circle of people cheering, then likely there is a street performer in the middle providing the entertainment.
Huh? So you got it tight? You sure you got it tight? Let me check the boy. Let me check the boy.
We're almost to the end.
Duval Street after dark is a totally different vibe with partygoers, especially on the weekends. The revelry will last until early hours of the morning. However, as we depart our hotel at 8 a.m. for breakfast, the streets are very quiet. We head over to Lime Square to just one of the several Key West locations for the Cuban Coffee Queen. Of course, we had to get a breakfast sandwich on Cuban bread, along with a cup of joe for me, and Jen got the mango tea, which was probably the best she's ever had. Now, like most outdoor restaurants in Key West, you will have roaming chickens. These chickens are descendants of birds brought in by early settlers and for cockfighting. Some escaped years ago, leading to a wild population which is now protected by law, and it is illegal to feed them. It doesn't mean, however, that they won't be on the prowl looking for scraps that fall from the table. After a great breakfast, we head to the Truman Little White House, which was the winter White House for President Harry S. Truman for 175 days during 11 visits. The house is located in the Truman Annex neighborhood of the Old Town, just a few blocks from Duval Street. In November 1946, President Harry S. Truman had finished 19 months in office, but was physically exhausted. Remember, he was thrust into the presidency after FDR's sudden death. He quickly oversaw the end of World War II to include the use of the atomic bomb and the rebuilding efforts for a post-war Europe and Japan. To alleviate the stress, his doctor ordered a warm vacation. The house, which was formerly the Commandant's home for the Key West Naval Station, was selected as the ideal residence. Presidential work documents were flown down from Washington by naval aircraft. During the Truman visits, cabinet members and foreign officials were regular visitors for fishing trips and poker games. Interestingly, on the advice of this physician, Truman would start the day with a heart starter, consisting of a shot of bourbon and a glass of freshly squeezed orange juice. Order one of those up, Jen. The museum offers guided tours on a daily basis, which includes a static display area, walkthrough of several rooms of the house, and of course a gift shop. A bit of advice is to go early, especially if there are cruise ships coming into port. Key West is becoming a very popular stop for cruise lines, and the Truman Little White House is one of the main shore excursions that is offered. Royal Caribbean's Serenade of the Seas made a port call on this day. Eaton Street Seafood Market is where we had lunch, and watching several commercial fishermen bring in their local catch, you cannot get any fresher than this. Jennifer and I both opted for the shrimp basket. At this point, the trip was going great until we got a call. Key West Express customer service notified us that our Monday return to Fort Myers was being canceled due to Tropical Storm Idalia coming up from the Yucatan Peninsula. Our choices were to return that Sunday evening or wait until the next sailing, which was on Thursday. Considering this was likely to become a major hurricane and affect Central Florida, we decided to return that evening. Now, they have some great ice cream shops on Duval Street, but Jennifer had her mind set on a chocolate-dipped slice of key lime pie on a stick and was not leaving Key West without one. Oh, that key lime pie on a stick.
It's good.
Now, the return trip to Fort Myers was uneventful, although the boat was at capacity considering the Monday cancellation. Check-in was at 5 p.m. and the sailing at 6. There was a magnificent sunset, the calm before the storm. We were back at Fort Myers dock by 9:30 and quickly on our way home. So how does taking the Key West Express compare to driving? Well, time-wise, it is about the same. We left the house at 3:30 in the morning and arrived in Key West at 11:30, an 8-hour journey. Driving from the Villages to Key West is also about 8 hours with some bathroom breaks, barring any major traffic jams on Highway 1. Cost-wise, 2 round-trip tickets and parking at the boat terminal was $387 for the Key West Express, plus gas costs to and from Fort Myers. Driving cost to Key West would have been about $200 cheaper, even when using the Turnpike Toll Road. Now, parking in Old Town Key West can be challenging, especially during the busy winter season, and not having to worry about finding parking can be a blessing. For us, the Key West Express was a unique experience, and while our trip was curtailed by 24 hours due to the storm, we did make the most of our time in the Conch Republic. The boat ride was more relaxing than driving for 8 hours. It would certainly be appealing for those wanting to get the party started early with the on-boat bar. For those who have never been to the Keys and want to see more than just Key West, then driving Highway 1 is pretty special as well, and gives you a lot of flexibility on the stops you can take on the way down to mile marker 0. So would we take the Key West Express again? Well, we have already made the decision that we would, and took advantage of their current online offer of travel vouchers for $119 per person round trip from either Fort Myers or Marco Island. Vouchers must be utilized for travel between the 1st of January 2024 and 31 December 2025. So that's our video on Key West, and hopefully you too have a chance to visit this great island, whether that be by driving there or by taking the Key West Express. So that's all for this video. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next one.